Are you cozy? Good. Pull your blanket up a little higher if you like, right up around your shoulders, and let your head sink down into your pillow. That's it. That's exactly right. Tonight, we're not going anywhere exciting. We're not going to run or jump or shout. We're just going to lie very still and very quietly. I'm going to tell you some of the most wonderful, sleepy, beautiful things about the earth you live on. Because the earth, you see, is full of secrets. Gentle ones, soft ones, the kind of secrets that make you go, oh, very quietly, and smile and feel peaceful all the way down to your toes. So take one big, slow breath in through your nose and let it all the way out. There you go. Let's begin. Right now, at this very moment, while you are lying here all warm and still, the earth is breathing. Not the way you breathe, with lungs and a chest that rises and falls, but in its own slow, enormous way. The earth is moving air around. It's pushing moisture up from the forests and pulling it back down as rain. It's cycling things through the soil and the sea and the sky, slowly, patiently, the way it has been doing for billions and billions of years. The earth is very old, you know. Much, much older than anything you could count to. And in all that time, it has never stopped. It just keeps going, gently and steadily, like a very large, very calm heartbeat. And you are resting on top of it right now, safe and warm. Isn't that a nice thought? Let's think about trees for a little while. Trees are lovely things to think about when you're falling asleep. Here's something wonderful about trees. You might think that when you walk through a forest, all the trees are separate. Just lots of different trees, each one on its own. But that's not quite true. Underneath the ground, underneath your feet, if you were walking there are tiny threads. Millions and millions of tiny, delicate threads, thinner than the thinnest hair, connecting the trees together. These threads are made by something called fungi, which are a little bit like mushrooms, and they weave through the soil like the most enormous, most patient web in the world. And through those threads, the trees talk to each other. Not with words, of course, but they send little signals. They share food. If a big old tree has extra sugar from all the sunlight it caught today, it might send some of that sugar underground to a smaller tree nearby that's living in the shade. The big old trees, the grandparent trees, the ones that have been there the longest, they share the most. They look after the younger trees around them, quietly, underground, where nobody can see. Scientists call this the Wood Wide Web, which is a very good name for it. A web made of wood and roots and quiet, invisible kindness, spreading through every forest on Earth. Isn't that lovely? All those trees standing still and looking separate, and underneath holding hands. Now. Can you imagine something so small you couldn't even see it, not even with your very best eyes? Something too tiny to see, floating in the air, or hiding in a drop of water? There are creatures like that. Little tiny creatures called tardigrades. Some people call them water bears, which is the best name, because if you looked at one under a very powerful magnifying glass, they would look a little bit like a small, chubby, 8-legged bear. A microscopic bear. A bear you could fit thousands of on the tip of your finger. And here is the remarkable thing about water bears. They are the toughest creatures in the whole world. Perhaps in the whole universe. Scientists have sent them up into space. And do you know what happened? They were fine. They just waited quietly until it was over, and then carried on. When things get very cold or very difficult, a water bear curls up into a tiny ball and goes to sleep. A very, very deep sleep, deeper than any sleep you've ever had, where it stops eating and breathing and moving, and it just waits. It can wait for years and years. And when things get better and a little drop of water finds it again, it wakes right up. Just like that. Ready to carry on? A tiny little bear, no bigger than a speck of dust, that can sleep through almost anything. You're a bit like a water bear right now. All curled up and warm, ready to sleep through the night until morning comes. Let's think about the ocean for a little while. The ocean covers most of the Earth. Did you know that? More than half of our whole planet is covered in deep, beautiful, dark blue water. And inside that water, all sorts of quiet and wonderful things are happening. There are creatures in the ocean that glow. Not because someone turned a light on inside them, but because of a little chemical reaction happening in their tiny bodies. Little creatures called plankton, so small you could never see one on its own. But when there are millions of them together in the water at night and something moves through them like a wave or a gentle hand, they flash. They flicker. The whole sea lights up with a soft, cold, blue-green light. There are places in the world where people go to swim at night just to see this. and the water glows all around them wherever they move, every ripple, every splash turning to soft blue light. And then it fades, and the ocean is dark and quiet again. Imagine floating in that water. Everything still. And then you move your hand ever so gently, and the sea around your fingers glows for just a moment, like a whisper of light. That would be a very good thing to dream about. Here is a gentle, funny fact about frogs. Frogs cannot chew. They don't have the right kind of teeth for it. So when they catch a little insect on their sticky tongue and pull it into their mouth, they have to find another way to swallow it down. And do you know what they do? They blink. They push their eyes downward, slowly, into the inside of their head, and those eyes gently press on the roof of their mouth and help squish the food down their throat. So every time a frog blinks, there's a good chance it's having its dinner. Isn't that funny? Blinking to eat. Next time you blink, you can think about frogs. Blink. Blink. Just like a little frog in a pond, sitting very still on a lily pad, blinking slowly in the evening. Let's drift a little further. Think about leaves. Just ordinary leaves, the ones on any tree outside your window. They might seem very simple and ordinary, but each one is doing something quite extraordinary, quietly, all day long. Inside every leaf, there are tiny little doors. Hundreds of them. You couldn't see them. They're too small, but they're there, opening and closing all day, letting air in and out. And inside the leaf, there's something called chlorophyll, which is the thing that makes leaves green, and it catches the light from the sun. And it uses that light and the air coming in through those tiny doors to make food. Food made of light. Can you imagine that? Every leaf is a little factory for making sunshine into sugar, quietly humming away. And no two leaves are exactly the same shape. Every single leaf on every tree in every forest in the whole world is just a little bit different. Like very small, very green fingerprints. All those millions of quiet, gentle, different leaves, making food from sunlight, breathing in and out. Now, here is a very good bedtime fact. There is a kind of jellyfish that can live forever. Well, not exactly forever, but almost. It's called the immortal jellyfish, and it lives in warm, gentle seas. And when it gets old, or tired, or something worries it, it does something that no other creature can do. It turns itself back into a baby. It goes all the way back to the beginning. back to being tiny and new, and starts growing again. Like if you got very tired one day and decided to just become a baby again and start over. Which does sound rather nice, actually, when you think about it. This jellyfish can do this over and over. It just keeps beginning and beginning again. Isn't that the most peaceful kind of thing to imagine? Just floating through the warm sea, slow and soft and made mostly of water, and when you're tired, just becoming new again, just floating. Let's be very quiet for a moment and think about seeds. A seed is a very patient thing. On the outside, it looks dry and small and completely still. But inside, it is holding everything it needs to become something enormous. A whole tree, maybe, or a flower, or a field of grass, all tucked inside something no bigger than a pea. And sometimes, seeds wait. They wait a very long time. Scientists once found a seed from a date palm tree, a tree that makes sweet dates for eating. And this seed was 2,000 years old. 2,000 years. It had been sitting quietly in an old jar underground while empires rose and fell and whole civilizations came and went. And then someone found it and gave it a little water and a little warmth. And it woke up and grew. 2,000 years of waiting, and then, when the right moment came, it simply began. There's something very comforting about that. All that patience, all that quiet, still, unhurried waiting. The seed never worried. It just waited until it was time. You don't need to worry either. Everything will be here in the morning. Right now, it is just time to wait and rest and let the night do its quiet, gentle work. Did you know that elephants grieve? When an elephant comes across the bones of someone it used to know, someone from its family perhaps, it slows down. It gets very quiet. It reaches out with its long nose and touches the bones very gently, very carefully. And sometimes, it just stands there for a little while. And elephants remember. They have very, very good memories. They remember their friends and their family, and they seem to carry those memories with them for their whole lives. They stay near the ones they love when those ones are sick. They wait. They keep each other company. In the wide, dusty savanna, with the stars coming out above them and the warm air of the evening settling in, elephants stand together. Looking after each other. Remembering. That is a very old, very tender feeling. Not just a human feeling, an elephant feeling too. Now let's think about something very, very small. Your body is full of life. Not just the life that is you, but millions and millions of tiny other living things, all living on you and in you all the time. There are more tiny creatures living just in your belly than there are people who have ever lived on Earth. Tiny, helpful creatures called bacteria and other little things, all quietly working away while you sleep, helping to digest your food and look after your health and keep you feeling well. You are not just one creature. You are a whole world, a whole living ecosystem, walking around, going to school, eating breakfast. And right now, while you lie very still and close your eyes, all those tiny little beings inside you are still going. Quietly working. Quietly helping. You could say they're having their own little midnight adventures while you sleep. A whole world resting. Let's think about whales. Blue whales are the largest animals that have ever lived on Earth. Larger even than the dinosaurs. They're so enormous you could fit an entire double-decker bus inside one if you somehow managed to do such a thing, which you absolutely shouldn't try. And these enormous, enormous creatures drifting through the deep ocean, they sing. Their songs are so low and so deep that we can barely hear them. And they travel through the water for hundreds of miles, thousands of miles sometimes. A blue whale in one part of the ocean, sending its low, slow, beautiful song rumbling through the dark water, and another whale, so far away it might as well be in a different country, hearing it. Each group of whales has its own songs, passed down from parents to children, changed a little each year, like a song that keeps very slowly becoming a different song. In the deepest, darkest, quietest part of the ocean, right now, a whale is singing. And somewhere, very far away, another whale is listening. That song has been traveling through the dark water for a very long time. Here is something gentle and funny about penguins. When a penguin wants to find a partner, when it has decided that it quite likes a particular penguin and would like to share a nest with them, do you know what it does? It looks around very carefully, and it finds a pebble. A nice one, smooth and round, and it waddles over with that pebble and it puts it down in front of the penguin it likes. And it waits. That's the proposal. A pebble. If the penguin on the receiving end of the pebble accepts it, they pick it up and put it in their nest. And then the two penguins start collecting pebbles together, building a little home, one small stone at a time. And the pebbles matter because they keep the eggs up off the cold ground. So, a good pebble is a very thoughtful gift. Isn't that a kind thing? Finding just the right pebble, carrying it over carefully, hoping very much that it will be accepted. In the cold wind and the snow of Antarctica, two small penguins building a home together, one pebble at a time. Let's slow down a little now. Let your breathing get even slower. Do you know what your bones are made of? Calcium. A hard, strong mineral that gives your bones their strength so you can stand up and run and jump. And that calcium, every bit of it, was made inside a star. A real star, out in space, burning and glowing and enormous billions of years ago. When very big stars get old, they explode. And all the things they were made of, all those minerals and elements and bits of matter, go flying out into space, and they drift for millions of years. And slowly, slowly, they drift together into new clouds, and new planets form from those clouds. And on one of those planets, the right minerals mixed with water and warmth and time, and something miraculous happened, and life began. And eventually, after an extraordinarily long chain of quiet and wonderful accidents, all those things that were once inside a star became part of you. You are made of stardust, not as a poem, as a fact. The calcium in your bones was forged in the heart of a star that lived and shone and died long before the earth existed. You're carrying a little piece of the universe around with you everywhere you go. That feels like a good thing to know when you're falling asleep. You're made of something very old and very vast and very bright. Have you ever looked at a flower? Properly looked at it, close up, in the sunshine? Bees can see something in flowers that we can't. Flowers have patterns on them, patterns made of ultraviolet light, which human eyes aren't built to see. Special landing stripes and glowing rings and little signals that say, this way, the nectar is here. And bees can see all of it, this whole extra layer of color and pattern that's there all the time, in every garden, completely invisible to us. So when you look at a plain yellow flower, a bee looking at the same flower might be seeing something like a little lit-up runway, all rings and signals and glowing guides. The whole world is full of colors we can't see, patterns we don't know about. Secret messages written in light, being read by small buzzing creatures in every garden. The world is so much more than we can see. Now, let's think about sleeping for a moment. Since you're doing it, owls, when they fly through the night, make almost no sound at all. You might think birds are noisy when they fly, all that flapping. But owls have special soft feathers, feathers with gentle, fluffy edges, and the air flows through them so smoothly that the owl passes through the darkness like a breath, like a thought, like something you almost imagined. Owls are so quiet in flight that the creatures below them on the ground often don't know anything is coming until the owl is already there. Flying silently through the dark, watching with those great round eyes, hearing everything with those ears that are so good at listening. They can hear a mouse moving under the snow. A quiet hunter in a quiet night. And speaking of sleeping while flying, which sounds like the most impossible and wonderful thing, some birds do exactly that. A bird called the frigate bird can stay in the air for weeks at a time, gliding on the wind over the ocean. And when it needs to sleep, it sleeps with only half its brain at a time. Half of its brain goes quiet and rests, and the other half stays awake just enough to keep it gliding, keep it safe. And then they swap. One half wakes up, and the other half has a turn resting. Imagine sleeping on the wing, high up over the ocean, the world quiet and dark below you. Maybe that is what it feels like when dreams start to come. Half of you still here, half of you already drifting somewhere else. Here is a lovely, gentle fact about plants. Plants can hear bees. Not with ears, because they don't have ears. But when a bee comes buzzing nearby, the sound of those wings makes the petals of a flower vibrate ever so slightly, and the flower knows. It can feel those vibrations. And in just a few minutes, it makes its nectar a little sweeter. Ready for the bee. A flower standing still in the sunshine, listening for bees. And when a plant is being eaten by a caterpillar, munching away on its leaves, it can send a little signal out through the air. A tiny, invisible chemical signal that drifts to the nearby plants and says, quietly, gently, "Be careful. Something is eating." And those plants can then make their leaves taste a little more bitter, a little less delicious to caterpillars. Plants talking to each other. Not with words, just with little whispers of chemistry on the breeze. The garden is never silent. It's just talking in a language we can't quite hear. Let's go back to the ocean one more time, because the ocean is very good to think about when you're going to sleep. A single drop of seawater contains thousands of living things, tiny, microscopic, beautiful things drifting in that one small drop. Some of them make the oxygen you breathe. More than half the air in every breath you take comes not from trees or forests, but from tiny creatures floating in the sea. Tiny things you could never see, quietly breathing out into the ocean, and the ocean breathing it into the sky, and the sky giving it to your lungs. Every breath you take connects you to the ocean. Breathe in slowly. The ocean gave you that. Breathe out. You know, the earth is very old, older than you can imagine. And in all that time, things have changed and changed and changed again. Great forests have come and gone. Huge seas have opened up and closed. Mountains have risen up slowly, impossibly slowly, and worn away again. The Sahara Desert, which is the great golden desert in Africa, so hot and dry that barely anything grows, was once green. Green and full of rain and rivers and lakes. Elephants walked across it. Crocodiles swam through it. People lived there and painted pictures of all the animals on the walls of caves. And then, very slowly, over thousands of years, the rain stopped coming. And the grass dried, and the rivers shrank, and the desert came. And now it is sand and wind and sun, stretching for miles and miles. But deep underneath all that sand, there are the bones of old rivers, the shapes of ancient lakes, a memory of green. The earth holds so many memories of things that were there and are gone now. Of creatures that wandered through and left only their shapes in the stone. Everything changes. Everything, eventually, becomes something else. And somehow, through all of that, here you are, in your warm bed, at the end of a long and very old story. Your body is working so hard right now, even though you're not doing anything. "30 trillion cells, quietly busy, your heart beating, your lungs breathing. Your brain sending little electrical sparks, quiet and tiny from one part to another, like the very smallest fireworks in the world, all through the night. And your brain, even while you sleep, is doing things, sorting through the day, putting memories in order. Growing and learning even in the dark. Sleep is not doing nothing. Sleep is doing everything quietly inside. Somewhere right now, a little bear called a tardigrade, a water bear, is curled up in a tiny ball in a drop of water on a piece of moss, waiting patiently for tomorrow. Somewhere, a seed is sitting in the dark soil, holding all its plans very still, waiting for spring. Somewhere, a whale is singing in the deep ocean, its low song rolling through miles and miles of dark water. Somewhere, a forest is talking through its roots, one tree sending a little sugar to another in the quiet dark. Somewhere, a jellyfish is drifting through the warm sea, soft and slow, lit by the tiny glowing plankton around it. And somewhere, a penguin is sitting on a carefully chosen pile of pebbles, keeping something very small and important warm. All of this is happening right now, while you lie still. The earth is so full and so busy and so patient and so strange and wonderful. And it has been here for so very long. And it will be here tomorrow. And the day after. And the day after that. So let your eyes close all the way now, if they haven't already. Let your arms go heavy. And your legs, and your shoulders, and your jaw. Let everything soften. The stars are out. The moon is doing its slow, quiet work, pulling the tides gently in and out. The forests are breathing. The ocean is glowing in places, just barely in the dark. And a little water bear, somewhere on a piece of moss, is sleeping its deep, impossible sleep. And a seed, somewhere underground, is quietly waiting. And a whale song is traveling through the ocean, slow and long and low and beautiful. And you are part of all of it. Made of old starlight. Living on a breathing, talking, glowing, patient earth. Good night. The world will be here in the morning. Everything is well. Everything is wonderfully, quietly, calmly well.